Hey there folks, welcome to another board game exposure summary video. This is for January 2018 and I'm your host, Jason Froud. So to begin with, some information. As usual, I like to talk about the BGE Facebook page before we get to what we've done for the month. And I just wanted to give you some more information about it. So once again, I'll put the link in the description below, which will take you to the Facebook page and you can join us there. It's a nice growing community there with a vast array of designers, publishers, gamers, reviewers. So it's got a lot of perspectives from a lot of angles, and it's a great, friendly community. We also run regular competitions in there. We just had a great competition won by a gentleman, which was the Tiny Epic Bundle. So you had about 4 of the different Tiny Epic games for when the Zombie Kickstarter was running. We've also been running some competitions in a sister group, or not a sister group, it's another group run by Pat Eady called the Board Games and Role-Playing Games and Chat. Because it's predominantly a UK-based group, we've been running a couple of competitions in there. What we've been doing is games that we reviewed. You know, we get review copies in or prototype copies, once we've done with them and they've passed it around the group, we then put it up for competitions. So people have been entering competitions there. We gave away, I think, 3 or 4 games in the last month over there. So obviously I'll put a link into that as well, and you can go check that out. Or you can come to BGE and we'll be giving away more games over there. Just giving back to the community, basically. You know, games we don't need, we can pass it on. The other thing we've been doing in the group as well is every week, as a group of the reviewers in the group, so the BGE core members, we've been voting on what we think is the good upcoming or current running Kickstarters. So Nick compiles the list and then he puts it up for everyone to see. So if you're interested in seeing what's going on in the Kickstarter world and you want to know what's out there and what's good to back, you can check out the link and it will take you to all the Kickstarter picks. And there's some really good games out there. This feels like this year, sort of January, February, March is like Kickstarter season as tons of Kickstarters come out. And you'll also see by the banner, we have a sponsored banner every week, and that's highlighting a Kickstarter of the week as well. Alright, so that's a little bit of the news. I've got a new segment as well that I want to add to the summary video as a whole, which is upcoming Kickstarters. So we do a lot of Kickstarter previews, and we obviously have links to our videos for those. But just want to talk about general Kickstarters that are coming out towards the end of the month. So when you see this, they'll be coming out. So we'll have that segment in a minute. But first, let's have a look what Nick from Board Deck and Dice has done. And then I'll get back to you.
Hello, it's Nick from Board Deck and Dice with another Board Game Exposure update. These are the games I looked at for Board Game Exposure last month, January. First up we have Warpgate, which is currently just finishing on Kickstarter in the next few days. Really right down my street, this game. I know some people haven't enjoyed it as much as I did, but my group absolutely loved it, and with everything extra that's been added in, I think there's been a significant improvement from the prototype stage game. Next was Isaribi, or however you say it. Okay game, but already I've forgotten about it, and I'm not that bothered to play it again. It's kind of action selection game about fishing. Interesting theme, interesting art. Ultimately, not enough replayability. For the Birds was a neat 4 in a row or making a square abstract game. A few small issues that I had with it, not being able to tell whose birds were who. It did have slightly different elements to them, but it wasn't quick enough. But the actual gameplay I really enjoyed. There was some dice rolling, but you had choice within that, and you could use your powers to move things around. It was really neat. And I won every time I played. Moonquake Escape is this chaotic, impressive game where there's a spinning mountain and up to 6 players are trying to escape first. Very take that, some deduction in it, very chaotic, a lot of fun. but not the deepest experience ever, although there are two sides, but I find that the second side just makes it more chaotic. So yeah, good game, enjoyable, not one I perhaps own, but one I would happily play. Wibble Plus Plus, again another game on Kickstarter, more of a gaming system, and a couple of games in there which I really liked. The namesake Wibble and Grabel, which was kind of a letter version of Dobble, which sounds like it shouldn't work, but worked really well with my family. Quirk Legends, also on Kickstarter. If you've been following my channel at all, you know that I'm a big fan of Quirk. Just so much more game than it looks, and it's been our most played game until number 9 came along, and they're neck and neck and they keep overtaking each other in most played games because they're both quick to play. We usually play Quirk on an evening after our meal as a family, and we love it. Lots of laughs. Dice Throwing was a really fun, really good dice throwing Yahtzee style game. Season 2 is coming up on Kickstarter soon, and they've made the few complaints I had have been improved. So there's a new targeting system. If you don't like rolling dice to target, there's a new targeting system. And where there was no artwork on the cards, and that was the biggest distract from me, they've put some beautiful artwork on this card. In fact, the second version looks so nice that I hope, I almost want them to go back and redo the first version cards as an upgrade pack or something like that, but we'll see what happens with that. But Dice Throwing is really good. It can be one-on-one, up to 6 players, battlers, each have their own little insert. Fantastic game. Lastly, for the BGE was Brutal Kingdom, which really surprised me. Now, it is a game you have to play at 4 players. I'm going to maintain that 3 players isn't that good, but 4 players is really fantastic. Kind of love lettery style game, trying to work out who's going to do what, some deduction, some sneakery. Really interesting scoring system where you're collecting tokens, but you only score as many tokens that are left of that colour. So if you take a blue token, there's 7 blue tokens left. That blue token's worth 7. If someone else takes one, those 2 blue tokens are worth 6. So it's really interesting, and this strategy of trying to exhaust someone's tokens is quite interesting. So that's it from me on Board Deck and Dice. It's not been the most heavy month after Christmas, but believe me, in my scheduled videos and videos that are yet to go live, there is a lot. So I'll see you next month on the update. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Thanks, Nick. Good job as usual. Right, so moving on to Mark Capelhelm from More Heatex Reviews. He's done we've all been really busy. January is quite a strange sort of period of the month where we haven't got as many reviews out. We're sort of preparing for the rest of the year, that sort of thing. But Mark's still got a decent list out. So he did a review of Spirits of the Forest. Obviously that was on Kickstarter from Thundergriff Games. That's finished now, but Mark got that done early in the month. And then he's also done a review for Donning the Purple. It's from Tomped Games. That's coming out coming to Kickstarter on the 20th of February. He also did Word Slam. And he also has a review up on his review page for Argonauts. This is a Greek mythology game which is on Kickstarter as we speak from Alcyon Creative. This looks interesting. I'll be doing a look at this soon enough. He's also had a look at Wibble Plus Plus, and this is obviously from Games from Bez, a little card game with multi-use cards in it. So it's kind of like a system where you can play different games all in one go, or in different sessions. We also did a preview for Warpgate. That's also finished on Kickstarter at the moment, but all of us did previews for that space exploration combat-y game. Really interesting action selection thing, so that was really good. And then he's also did Infinity's Defiance of Fate, and that comes to Kickstarter February the 20th. So, well, that's all the stuff that Mark's done for this month. He's obviously got a lot more games coming out for next month. Then we can move on to Lindsay.
Hello, it's Lindsay here, Shiny Happy Meeples. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple of the games I've been playing this month. Rambo. It's Rambo the board game. It's by Everything Epic Games. I received it because I know the artist on Twitter, and she thought it might be my cup of tea because I like my 80s action films. She was right. I'm not a huge fan of Rambo, but I do like the first movie, but it's never been like one of my favourite action films. So I was kind of interested to see how it would play from a perspective of I'm not a huge fan, a hardcore fan, will I still like the game? It's actually really, really good. It was just a really decent co-op game with a lot of, you know, grid movement, combat, you know, what's not to like. You know, it was just a really smooth game to play. It didn't take an eternity to play. It was a good like couple of hours. Played well as a 2-player actually. Although you've got to be careful what characters you use because they do interact with each other, so if you had the wrong combination then you could find yourselves a little bit stuck. I was Rambo obviously. So yeah, I think the final Kickstarter is going to be really good. It's funded but it can still meet a lot more sort of stretch goals, so you know, check it out. If Rambo and 80s action is your cup of tea, you like co-op games, you like a bit of combat in the jungle, yes, definitely. Played Cursed Cult. This was from Atlas Games. It was really, really lovely. It's a filler game. It's kind of like a filler game where it's got loads of stuff to it. It's a really beautiful board. You get really like lovely big fat poker chips in there and these nice little crowns. Artwork is gorgeous, and it's kind of like a deduction game. It's a bit of betting, wagering. It's a little bit like, I described it as kind of like poker vibe, but fun, a lot more fun. I'm going to do a full review of this soon, but that's Cursed Cult anyway from Atlas Games. Hero Realms and Epic card game, so looking forward to those. At BG I think we're pretty excited to have a go at these, so been learning those and going to be playing and reviewing soon, then passing it on to everybody else. So we'll get to have a go of White Wizard, Epic and Realms. Woo! But I've got to say, it's really fantastic. It's like a designer's toolkit sort of thing. It's called the White Box. This is by Atlas Games as well. I unboxed it on my channel a few minutes ago. It's a really nice little box. It's got a fantastic book in, like for burgeoning game designers. It's a really great book. It feels like essays about everything you could possibly think of to do with board game design. And in it you get like, you know, wooden cubes and counters and some ready-made sort of cardboard tokens and dice you can possibly sort of customise, and just some bits and pieces to kind of get you on your way. So yeah, that's just another little aside, something that I was something I got sent this month. So yeah, that's me done for today, and I'll see you again soon, and bye.
Thanks, Lindsay. Enjoyed your segment as usual. Alright, so before we get to what I've done, which is not that much this month, I've been focusing a lot on other things. I wanted to do a new segment which is upcoming Kickstarters. So I've got a list here of some of the Kickstarters coming out sort of towards the back end of February, beginning of March. So the first one I want to talk about or mention is Robin Hood and the Merry Men from Final Frontier Games. This comes out 21st of February and is part designed with our own Martin Poole from the BGE. This obviously looks great, beautiful artwork, and there's some gameplay videos about coming out now from various reviewers. This comes 21st of February, so I suggest checking that out. And another game coming out on the 20th of February is Donning the Purple. This is from Tompet Games and designed by Peter Olsen. I'll have a review preview for this when it comes out on February 20th. But it looks like it's a really interesting game. It's you're playing a Roman household, and you're basically trying to compete for the hierarchy of Roman society. So you've got a lot of things going on, and it's really interesting. As the emperor, you can gain more victory points, but as everyone else is gunning for you. Also on the February the 20th is Infinity's Defiance of Fate from Vital Entertainment. It's designed by Stephen Berry, a new company, and interesting game where you're combining sort of area control, well, maybe not area control, but you're using a map where your player pawns move around on, and you're using deck management. So, really interesting looking game. Another one for 20th of February, so a lot of games coming out on the 20th and 21st of February, is Edge of Darkness from AEG, and this is designed by John D. Clare. Right, AEG are now really branching out on the card crafting system that Mystic Vale brought in, which I think is a really interesting system, quite unique in a way. And this is what I've heard is this is the original game that he actually pitched to them, and then they went with Mystic Vale and the superhero type one first, but this is the one that he really wanted to get out, and it looks really interesting as well. Beautiful artwork. It's got the same card crafting system, so I'm really looking forward to that. On the 27th of February is Chronicles of Crime from Lucky Duck Games, and designed by, I might get this messed up, David Cicerel. This is a VR based game, so you use like one of those little VR pockets where you put your mobile phone into and you can immerse yourself into the environment. It's a crime deducing game, so that sounds really interesting. I believe we have a copy of this going around, so you'll see some previews and reviews from us. And then also on the 27th of February, which is coming back to Kickstarter, is Into the Black Boarding Party. This is from James Campbell. And Never Grow Up Games. Now I did a preview for this a while back, so I already have a video up and you can go check that out. It's actually quite an interesting game where you play a space pirate crew boarding a ship and you're basically trying to complete objective, like an overall mission, but each person has their own personal objective as well. It's a very interesting game. I actually thought it was unlucky not to find the first time, so if you're interested in that, go check that out. And then finally, what I'm really looking forward to is Batman Gotham City Chronicles from Monolith Games. Also 27th of February, and this is designed by Frederic Henry, and it's basically the Conan system but reskinned and polished up for Batman. It looks fantastic. I've actually even painted up a figure for them as well for the game, Robin, and you can see a picture here on my Facebook page as well. But I'm really looking forward to that. It's got a lot of awesome miniatures. Monolith becoming rapidly one of my favorite companies. Conan is brilliant. Mythic Battles Pantheon is brilliant. So, and this can't be that bad, even if it's based just basing it on the Conan system. And that is all the upcoming Kickstarter games I wanted to mention. There are obviously tons more, and you can go check out the Kickstarter pics on our Facebook page, the BGE Facebook page. We put weekly vote on, so loads of Kickstarters are coming out or on immediately, so go check that out. And then finally, my games that I've reviewed and previewed this past month for January. I did Warpgate. We did a playthrough of that, so you can see what that was like. I also did a review for Downforce from Restoration Games. Very interesting sort of racing car game, but very reminiscent of Camel Up, if you like that type of thing. And I also did a preview for Infinity Defiance of Fate, which is coming to Kickstarter next week, February the 20th. And then the only other game I reviewed that month was Lords of Hellas from Awakened Realms. This was a fantastic game, and I'm really psyched and can't wait for the expansions to come out. We did a review of that. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of on the end of the video. I got like 40 minutes of darkness, so the video is not quite as long as it says. But it was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I've been playing it quite a bit. I love the theme. I love the components. So I'm basically going into a review here again. But yeah, that was really good. Okay, so that's all I did this month. I've got some more things coming out as I'm working on now. But hopefully you enjoyed that episode. Please leave comments below. And if you want to see any other segments added to this, then please leave a message below so we can, you know, talk about it. Alright, so thanks a lot. See you guys next week or next month.